Alright, let's jump back in. So, we were just about to check out the bloody handprint. Okay, just make sure those weren't active. Well, what's this? Blood. It's a little worn, but there's definitely a handprint here. It looks like someone tried to wipe it off. Mr. Wright? What if there are other bloodstains left in the room? We should use her testing fluid to check it out. Alright. Take that. Alright. I knew it. This is someone's right hand. Well, right handprint, rather. What? What's the matter, Detective? This locker. It's mine. It's yours? Please. You have to help me when they come to take me away. Promise you'll testify that I wouldn't harm a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, pals? This is an important clue. I'll jot it down on the floor plans. I'm counting on you guys. Believe me, you can't trust the police. What? But you're a detective. Okay, let's have a... Ooh. This must have been one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. I'm not a professional, but what's your opinion, Detective? Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien. This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. I'll make a note of it on the floor plans. Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you should have asked. You shouldn't have asked. Okay. Oh, shoot. I just backed out. We're gonna go over this way. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I have to present over here. So it doesn't trigger... What am I doing wrong? Oh, I'm not supposed to do it from that menu. Okay, that's what I was doing wrong. See, I remember this. Why am I getting a reaction here? There's no reason for the murderer to touch this spot if he fled out the door. This just might be something significant. Hey, that's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal. What, this? It's luminol. You guys have been using this for decades. It's called luminol testing fluid. Where'd you get your hands on that? Huh? I'd like to get some too. I'll borrow it 50 bucks. I'll just borrow 50 bucks from the chief. Where do you get this, Emma? I always buy it by mail order. Well, I'd better jot this down on the floor plans. Hey, pal. Look at the time. Was there something you needed to be doing? Was there what? Was there something you needed to be going to? It's just that Mr. Edgeworth's inquiry committee should be letting out soon. I'm gonna go give them my report for the day. Oh, look, Trebian, the restaurant. That's in Ace Attorney 3. It might help, you know. Report? You mean the note written on the back of that flyer? The one that says nothing but no problems? Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure he can use a report like this. I believe in him. Who needs enemies when you've got friends like Detective Gumshoe? I'm off, pal. Later. I should probably see what Edgeworth has to say, too. Well, I guess, we know where to go. Love this guy. Okay, move on. Again, we gotta backtrack through all this garbage. Go to the parking lot so that we can go to Edgeworth's office. So stupid. Just let me go directly there. February 23rd, High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Oh, this guy. Ah, guests. My apologies. I forgot how I did this guy's voice before. Oh, it's you. Have we met somewhere? Huh? Mr. Edgeworth, I beg your leave. So long. Is Edgeworth here? There, standing by the window, a teacup in his hand. Right. He has the hotel bring him tea service? Mr. Edgeworth, you're back from the district prosecutor's office inquiry? I am. By the way, Detective Gumshoe... Oh, Phoenix is talking. By the way, Detective Gumshoe is looking for you, rather. Ah, yes. He brought me the latest information, it seems. Really? Was it helpful? Apparently, a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow. The real info is on the other side, Edgeworth. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I think this whole thing is really taking a toll on him. Let's have a chit-chat, you and I. So, how did the inquiry committee go? Actually, they decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation. Concealing evidence? Yes, apparently there are some who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky. This time. Again. Again? I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago. I like how this case, even though it's tacked on to the end of the first game and didn't exist throughout the original release of the trilogy, they've hooked the story of this case onto the rumors that have plagued Edgeworth throughout the first 4 episodes. So it's a really neat way of tying the whole game together for an episode that wasn't even originally there. Anyway. Are you okay I'm sorry, reread that. Are you okay for the trial tomorrow? Well, I'm still the presiding prosecuting attorney. However, something happened? They gave control of the investigation over to the police department. The police department? Yeah, any further investigation for this case will be directed by Chief of the Police Gant. Chief of Police Gant. I can do nothing but wait for his results. I see. Why, I ask you? Why? All along, I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still. Wow, I've never seen him this out of sorts. Okay. Let's have a talk, you and I. Right, please. I'm the prosecutor on this case. You can't expect me to sit here and discuss the case with you over a cup of tea. Oh, that's... He's got a point there. I'll pass on the tea. Just tell me about the case. Mr. Wright, Mr. Edgeworth told you no in a very polite manner. Whose side are you on, anyway? Maybe if I just show him my best evidence, I can get some reaction out of him. Oh, that's right. Oh, right. I'd better check this now. As I was saying, Ooh. What's this? A record of ID card usage? Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less. Yes, that's true. Why, Mr. Edgeworth? Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. The chief of police? He wanted evidence for a case that wrapped up half a year ago. Oh, that was from the hotel case, the one where Mia was killed. Again, they like reusing assets for this case, with giving you a lot of Easter eggs. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office, but it was solved, right? It would have to be. I'm sorry, it would have to be if the evidence was already filed, but it would be if the evidence was already filed. The chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbing, I brought this back here. Can I ask what kind of case it was? I can't say. It really was nothing to do with the current case. Now, I'm curious about this other case. I'd better make a note of it. You know what other case it was. Evidence from past case. Or maybe it's not that screwdriver. Maybe it is a... Maybe it's not from the red-white case. Maybe it is from something else. Otherwise, they wouldn't make this this point. Evidence from a past case of Edgeworth's brought back to his office by Gant's request. Stubborn as always, I told you this has nothing to do with the current case. Okay. Right, please. I'm the prosecutor on the case. You can't expect me to sit here and discuss the case with you over a cup of tea. Alright, alright, alright. Man, I'm not gonna get anywhere with this guy. Let's see, I gotta be able to do something. Oh, here we go. It all has to do with that case you were on. Oh, I'm sorry, Phoenix Dog. It all has to do with that case you were on, the SL9 incident. And some dark suspicion you were wrapped up in. You are the man who revived the worst memory of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later. You must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth, why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth. Here we go. The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was the deputy chief of police at the time, Damon Gant. That wacky old coot was involved in a case 2 years ago too then. He was a top officer and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous. Oh, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth? What I want to know is why was the deputy chief of police on the investigation? In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict, and the killer was executed. Wait, you didn't? Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code, and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something. My sister? What? If you were still studying forensic science... Oh, if you were still studying forensic science. Yes, of course. Why, just today, Mr. Wright and I were using this. Luminol testing fluid, Well then, you might have a use for this. Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints. It's been chemically treated for better adhesion. For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know. I've no say in today's investigation. Do as you will. Edgeworth, I'm really... No need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved. Thanks. How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well? Fingerprint set and fingerprint file received. Well, let's get going. One last investigation. Right. I do seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. Ah, yes. Okay. Actually, let's have some fun. Just making sure. Ooh. What? Looks like some blood was dripped down here. Judging by the amount, my guess is that it was from a nosebleed. A nosebleed? Maybe in his wrath, Mr. Edgeworth slapped somebody for their incompetence. Why does Detective Gumshoe's face come to mind? Oh, it's stuck on the... Oh, he's gotta be thorough. Okay. We're gonna be doing that at every scene. Okay, move to the underground lot. Oh, yeah. We already used it here, right? Yeah, I think we did. But I'm gonna do it anyway. No. Always good to be sure. Yeah, we were already here with this. Okay, you never know with police. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, the guard station. Hey, he's gone. Really? Nothing here. Okay. The evidence room. February 23rd, evidence room, sector 3. Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint. Here in this blood on the detective's evidence... Here in this blood on the detective's evidence locker. Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed. Right, let's get started. First, choose a fingerprint. Or choose a finger. A finger? Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. So let's choose the finger that will have... Let's choose the finger that will have left behind the clearest print. I really can't tell the difference at a glance. Quit procrastinating and choose a finger. Alright, let's choose this one. Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done. Emma's starting to get that sparkle in her eyes. First, we sprinkle the aluminum powder around. Huh? How do you do that? With enter, see? Ah, looks like that did the trick. The aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess. Huh? How do you do that? With E. Exciting, I know. Imagine you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. See? Wow. That looks like fun. I think it's getting used to, though. It's fine. It won't go up your nose or anything. Yeah, we wouldn't want to end up like Buddy Ebsen. You pour the powder on thick and blow away the extra. Those are the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright. I guess I'd better give it a try. Now, fortunately, it actually gives me the right instructions for using it on the bottom right-hand corner there, because I'm using a controller, not the keyboard. There's got to be a mod for this that fixes the dialogue so that ah, you did it! You found one. But this looks nothing like a fingerprint. Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't. What does it mean? I think it means we're out of luck. Oh, Emma, I think it means we're out of luck. Out of luck? The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves. Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here. Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations. But it does seem a shame. While we're at it, why don't we look for other prints? Other prints? Look at the locker door again closely. Oh wait, I see something. Seems like there are fingerprints outside the bloody handprint as well. Let's see if we can find a clear print. Fingerprints outside the blood. Yes, I see. I got a nice coating. And blow. Okay. Is it not going to register? Did I? Ah, there we go. Yay, a print so clear, it's dazzling. Dazzling? Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away. So we're not done yet? This is quite a process. Well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right? I guess she's right. Look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth. Point out the person you think left the prints. Huh? How am I supposed to know who it was? I could make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means that the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So, whose fingerprints would we most likely find on this evidence locker? Oh, that would be Detective Gumshoe. Boop, 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 boop. 11, 16. Comparison complete. Match found. I would think so. Aha! So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? You gave this so what look. I guess that's probably because I was thinking so what. Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. You gotta roll with the punches to get to what's real, Mr. Wright. Thanks for the sympathy, rather. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. Okay. Yes. Okay, oh, do we have to use the luminol again? Is that it? This is where we got a luminol fluid reaction, right? Right. There was a handprint here. Okay, want to try using this? There goes her eyes sparkling again. Check for prints. Okay, let's check for prints. That's the spirit. Oh, but I have to warn you about something first. What? The area with the blood was wiped away, right? We only ended up finding it using chemical means. Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too. Oh, right. So that means no prints. Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high? Hypothesis? Don't ask me. Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped away. Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand. What am I missing here? Okay. What am I looking for? Why is the A button not doing anything? What am I looking for? Look. Let's try. Okay. Okay, here we go. I don't know what the issue was. It wasn't reacting to the A button press. It's not the controller. I think there's something screwy with the computer. Because this computer, I mean this controller is actually really good. It works on the other PC that I have. Okay, don't have a full print. There we go. Okay, Well, let's go with the people that we know have been in here. Comparing. Well, it's not going to be him. No match found. No match found. Gotcha, partner. Match found. Reach for the sky. Hey, these fingerprints, whose are they? Whose? Is it someone we know? It's Officer Marshall. Huh? Officer Jake Marshall? Marshall's fingerprints added to the court record. That's got to be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime. Is he? Emma, this is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's prints. Luminol reaction. The blood and the fingerprints are in the same place. Oh. So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a wiped bloodstain. But why would Officer Marshall... It looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence. I don't believe it. To be continued. Okay. I'm gonna go for a little break here, and I'll be right back. Alright, here we go. February 24th, 9:41 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2. So what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Skye. We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belonged to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. Oh. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall. We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Skye? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. February 24th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 9. Rubble, 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 rubble. Clack. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... Humph? I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait. Clack. Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Rubble, 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 rubble. Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meekin, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir. So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir. Actually, Sir, I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me, sir. Officer Meekins. Yes, sir. Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I'm part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day, sir. I'm having a stroke. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen, and I rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, and I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. Okay. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you? Do unto others before they do unto you, sir. That's the Meekins family motto, sir. I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain your consciousness? Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. The defense may begin a cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. Crime report, sir. Okay, although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. Hold it. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. Yikes, now there's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which means many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? Yes, sir, the lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. I see. Sounds like a very, important mission. After the awards ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. Okay. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card. Am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one right around my neck. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? There it is, I found it! This is the one right here, sir. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir. 498. 498-9596. That's my number, sir. I see. Huh. But the number 498-9596 is shown as being used twice. Please explain, witness. It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the blue badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down. I see. So it was during the second time when... Yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man at the security screen. Data added to the ID card record. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir. A knife! Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then? Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. You aren't exactly the kind of person who would want... you aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got it. That's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be... When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. I fought for my life, then I did it. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it? I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man that let his guard down for just an instant. Oh my god. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. You took his knife? I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. See. He must have been desperate. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then the next thing I knew... Yes? He punched me right in my face, sir. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. Hold it. About what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was 5:30. He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain. That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is. When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission? Yes, sir. The blue badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand. Well, we can all rest easy now. Clack. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins? With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir. The chief delivered it? What is that? A videotape? Yes, sir. That's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. Objection. What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told it had been mistakenly erased. Oh, that's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Clack. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me. A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Now, the first time you see this, you don't notice anything. You kind of see the basic a timeline of events, but the more and more you watch this, the more you notice. Here's Meekins with his Japanese armband. Stupid Badger is just constantly in the way. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. What the fuck was that? How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirring within us? What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood? Sir, that was the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. It's the blue Badger, sir. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Security video added to the court record. Yes, well anyway, this tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room and some sort of Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, sir. As you wish, sir. Mystery Man. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprints to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must have been him. No one else could have unlocked it. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have been Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Mystery Man. His face can't clearly be seen in the video. Hold it. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife? Sir, if you must label people as having seen or not... I'm sorry. If you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter. The latter. But you were standing right in front of him, were you not? More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you? Oh, yes, sir. But I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when they're, when talking to them, you see? Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer. Still, I'm sure it was him. I bet my badge on it. I'll take you up on that bet, sir. But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face. Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it. Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it. Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or... Meekins. Eek! Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify. Yes, sir! You claim the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprints to do. Hold it. About those lockers, is there no other way to open them? No, sir. I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to registered fingerprints, sir. I wonder what kind of methods he tried. If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to. Exactly my point, sir. And this, too. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. Hold it. How do you know that information? I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir. People in the know. The workers in the department cafeteria, sir, they keep me informed. They also listen to my, romantic troubles, sir. For the record, the opened locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source. So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video, the man's face. Sir! If I may say something, sir. Well, please do. After all, you are the one being examined. I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock, and it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir. Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security video? I'd say there's a problem. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Strange? This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. What? Nani? This video contains such a contradiction? Objection. Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? I propose we have the defense point out this alleged contradiction in the video. He would want me to point it out? He would want me to point it out. Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. Clack. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. I have to point out a problem in the video. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not... I didn't get to finish that. That the man may not be Detective Goodman, I guess is what he was trying to say. I hope so. Right there. Okay, present. Take that. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Yes, that is strange. Something certainly seems unnatural about that. What could it mean? Objection. Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Wright, but you seem to have forgotten the point of this exercise. The point? What you are looking for is one thing and one thing only. Something that indicates that the man may not be Detective Goodman. Oh, yeah. Oh, I almost walked right into the defense's trap. I'll place him under arrest, sir. Rats. I need to slow down and tackle these things one piece at a time. That was... Now, what do I do? Play the video again. Very well, let's try this again. Just remember one thing, Mr. Wright. Every time you point your finger, someone gets hurt. Says the one pointing his finger at us. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. I have to point out a problem in the video. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up to refresh... Okay, we've already been through this. Please don't play it too many times. Yada, yada, yada. Please enlighten us. This may not be Detective Goodman. Wait a minute. I just realized something. Wait. Take that. The thing that's strange about the video has got to be this. Officer Meekins. Sir! Don't... do you mean me, sir? As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. Jesus. The light's on. Yes. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. Here, notice the light? What's this? It's already lit! That's right. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already opened before the victim grabbed the handle. Ah! Clack, clack, clack. Order, order! What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. Objection. But the locker locks are controlled by an electric system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know, it must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. Yeah, you're the judge, shut up. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the system sensor. Something jam the sensor. Say, there's something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. In fact, we pointed it out already because we jumped the gun because we played this before. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. Clack. Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked. Mr. Wright, please point out the cause of this. Okay, prepare to fast forward. Fast forward. Okay. Hold it right there. Take that. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed earlier. Fast forward. I think this is why this case bothers people, because you go back and forth through this footage so many times and you're not always in control of it. Oh, what's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll. I didn't get to finish that. I'm sure it was hilarious. We can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? Inserted? This is so ridiculous. The glove. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of my door closing. But the object, I didn't get to finish that. The object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator. An insulator? Now the judge is starting to crack his voice. But at the crime scene, there just might have been something that fits the description. But sir, by insulator you don't mean... I think I finally got this figured out. Clack. Very well, will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was the insulator that stuck in the locker door? Oh, I got your evidence here, buddy. Take that. I found this near the locker, a thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that was in the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is that not so, Officer Meekins? Sir! It would appear so, sir. Clack, clack, clack. Order, order, order! So are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman? Objection. Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility, and nothing more. The victim in this video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. You know, if he's proving that Goodman was killed here, he's basically sabotaging his own prosecution. Because remember, this is the case of Miss Lana Skye. Anyway, But this is a cartoon courtroom video game anyway, but... What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Sir? Me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir. Is this a joke? Whack. Very well, begin your testimony. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When the ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. An ID card, I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim. Just before the crime, yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there were so few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon. Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination. Mystery Man number 2. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. Hold it. So unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you? Yes, sir. Solid as stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'd even give you the V for victory sign, sir. Couldn't he just use his right hand for that? Let's hear him out fully. As we've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very last second. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards? I said that earlier, sir. You should have been listening. The card right next to my cuffs, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it. But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that? Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I'm out in my car? When I get out of my car, rather? Well, the remaining time, it's my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me. Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both police department and prosecutor's office can attest to this. Please proceed with your testimony. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. Hold it. Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to. Let me see. Yes, this would be a Detective Goodman. What's the matter? According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here. Didn't we already establish this? So it is, Your Honor. Not that prosecutor again. Hey, maybe he's behind all this. Being a prosecutor, he could hide evidence. Tommy, is that man in blue a murderer? Shh, don't stare at him. You've got the wrong color, kid. Black. It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today. I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions, or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination. Poor Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Hold it. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID, sir. Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. Well, maybe he just panicked, sir. Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out. Mr. Wright, what do you think? I'm confused. What? The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we've got. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman's... Oh, we're back at the beginning. Enter the evidence room. One must use their ID card. Okay, we gotta find out what... When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. He used his card. I have to present something. The card is used, there's a record of it. There's a record of it. I don't know what else it could be. Okay, okay. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. Oh, that's right. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. A lost item report? It's only half complete. But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess, you believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Oh, because he got the card number wrong when he was filling out the report. That's why it was unfinished. Uh-huh. Order. So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Rumble, 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 rumble. Clack, clack, clack. Order! Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Gumshoe. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yeah, what's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is, well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well, is it? Well, well, it seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot, at the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Ugh! Rubble, 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 rubble. Shit. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. Clack! The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana... I know. What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Well, when in doubt, always object. Objection! One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? The cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Why do we have to sit through this whole thing? Again and again and again. Okay. On with it! On with it! End! However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor? If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean? Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh, the defense actually has a witness for once. That's new for this game. Whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Clack. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testified, what is his or her name? Take that. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, We should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Clack. Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. February 24th, 11:32 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out just yet. Lana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma, you always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, I guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? There's a cat over here who's screwing up the game. You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around with... You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, Detective. You better be, pal. Hey. I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked? Oh. You mean this, right? My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident? But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them. I can't believe you, the Chief Prosecutor, I can't believe you, the Chief Prosecutor, were a witness in that case. Miss Sky was a witness? SL9 incident files received from Lana Sky. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders. Oh, what? Now that I brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Emma, but why? Why is your name in here? Well, my name is in there. I don't know unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that? That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings. The Joe Dark? No, Lana. That's over with. No. Emma, wait. She ran away. You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal. I'm out of here. Pachoo, he's gone. Jake Marshall, Angel Star, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This just can't be a coincidence. Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I'd better take a good look at this file. To be continued. Alright. I'm kind of hungry, so I'm going to go get something to eat. And I'll be back, and we'll play another hour or so, I think. So, don't you go nowhere. I'll be right back.